one more win. It's a top 3 to 5 moment of this century in the NBA. So you're talking about this play here. Ray Allen in 2013 hitting the three-pointer to send Game 6 the overtime, changing that finals. I think you go back and think about Steve Kerr hitting that shot for the Bulls off the pass from Jordan. Jordan's shot over Russell in Utah for his final championship. Back when I was a real little kid, Magic Johnson, who will be joining us soon, you can see where he thinks his hook shot ranks in Boston, because that also sort of changed the momentum of that series. But I think OG's tip-in joins that select group if they win the series.
And maybe the LeBron, and we're just doing this on the fly, the LeBron chase down block, I think, winds up going on that list as well, and some of the other moments. I mean, this is what we're talking about, Tim, right? We're talking about a moment that is going to live forever. I guess on some level, even if the Knicks somehow manage to lose the next 3 games, but certainly if it winds up springboarding a championship, we're talking about a moment that is going to last forever.
Mike Brown called it the most iconic shot in New York Knicks history, and I think it'd be hard to argue with that. I noticed that beautiful list you had of all those awesome New York moments did not include a single one of the New York Knicks. So when you combine just the actual play, the spectacular play that he made with the context of this fan base has been starved for a championship for over 50 years. The vast majority of the people in that building never thought that they would see this day. Then, that definitely elevates that shot among the great plays in the history of that franchise and this league.
I thought about the Knicks, and the Knicks' best moments since then would be, in some order, the John Starks left-handed dunk, Patrick Ewing jumping up on the scorer's table, Larry Johnson's 4-point play, but none of them led to a championship, and that was the line of demarcation for these, and it's why I won't put Anunoby on the list until we get there. Vincenzo, chime in.
Well, I got to correct you a little bit, Greeny, because didn't Aaron Boone's home run, didn't the Yankees lose the World Series to Florida and the Marlins the next round?
They did. They did lose.
But
there goes the green list.
To the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
But to the NBA Finals, don't forget about Giannis Antetokounmpo's block on DeAndre Ayton and against Phoenix. LeBron's block over, Andre Iguodala and the Kyrie Irving shot. Like, there are a lot of plays in the NBA Finals. Lord, John Paxson in 1993 to clinch the three-peat. But this goes up there. I don't know if it's top 5, but if you consider the stakes of it, if you consider the Knicks part of it, and how starved New York is for a championship, it will be elevated because y'all in New York seem to elevate everything over common sense sometimes.
And the 29-point comeback, I think, is also good. And I'm glad that you corrected that. That's my fault. We should have gotten that one right. Okay, let's continue now, and we'll go to a different topic. Yeah. Let's talk about who the MVP of this series is right now. I know Wendy doesn't like talking about MVP until the series is over. But at this moment, I'm going to overrule that because I want to talk about it with you, Joe Fortenbaugh, because people can make bets on these things. Anunoby's tip-in has a lot of people saying he should be Finals MVP. At DraftKings Sportsbook, they still have Jalen Brunson as the favorite to win the award. OG Anunoby behind him. You see Wembanyama, and then a big jump off before you get to Karl Anthony Towns. What are you thinking?
What this tells you right now, first off, is that it's still very much up for grabs. If you pay attention to this over the course of the game, the prices will actually change throughout the course of the game. So if Anunoby were to start hot Saturday night, maybe scores 10 of the first 15 points for the Knicks, you'd start to see that swing. When it comes to awards handicapping, the most important thing is to handicap the voters. The stats, the performances matter, but narratives and storylines matter as well. MVPs, Heisman trophies, things of that nature. So for right now, I haven't made a bet based on anything with those prices. I played Karl Anthony Towns early in the series. That doesn't look too good right now, but this is still very much up for grabs.
Wendy, you were making the point, and I think you should share it with the entire audience of how the Finals MVP is actually selected. It's very interesting.
Yeah, unlike the regular MVP where there's 100 voters from across all over the planet, there are just 11 voters who vote for the Finals MVP. They are sometimes very close. 2 years ago, when Jaylen Brown won it over Jason Tatum, it was 7-4. Last year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was 11-0. But it's a tough vote. One vote either way could swing it. And I'll just point out, Anunoby is shooting almost 60%, averaging 24 points and averaging almost 2 blocks a game in this series, playing at both ends of the court, plus the iconic plays. It's a compelling case.
Yeah, so I think right now he seems like an interesting choice. Vinny, you have been a voter for this on multiple occasions. Explain how that works.
Well, I've been a voter for the past 5 years, Greeny, and what happens is they ask you on the day of a potential clinching game, because sometimes it doesn't happen that way. They ask if you're willing to be a voter, and they tell you they want your vote as soon as the buzzer ends. They say no sooner than 30 seconds after the game is over do they want your vote, because they have to tabulate the votes and then send it down to the floor to Lisa Salters or Malika, or whoever is handling the MVP. So you have to have at least a good idea of what's going to happen. The Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum one, that caused some consternation. I voted for Jaylen Brown. I didn't see an issue with that one. Andre Iguodala, like those guys, when you talk about history, Greeny, it's very rare a non-all-star or player who hasn't been yet an all-star wins NBA Finals MVPs. Kawhi Leonard was a Finals MVP before he became an all-star. Joe Dumars was a Finals MVP before he became an all-star. OG Anunoby has not been an all-star yet, so he will break a little bit of precedent, but I think he'd be a worthy one.
The Iguodala win speaks to everything when it comes to handicapping the voters. That was a narrative-driven award. If you remember, people said Iguodala's performance against LeBron is what won that series. It's what gave him the edge over Steph. You go back, LeBron still had a monster series against the Warriors there. He should have actually won it in a losing effort, but it was the narrative that led to that award.
I'm so glad you said that. I agree with that. I've been saying it for years. He should have won it in a losing effort, and Vinny disagrees because the MVP has to come from the losing side. But that series took 6 games, and it should absolutely have been a sweep. LeBron James won 2 games basically playing by himself because Irving and Love had both gotten hurt earlier in that series. All right, we'll get to our little stat later because I wanted to do our flashback here. We've done a lot of flashbacks over the course of time, and it was on this day in 1991, so hard to believe, 35 years ago today, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls won the first of their 6 NBA championships. It was Game 5. It was in Los Angeles. The Lakers had won Game 1 in Chicago. The Bulls recovered to win the next 4 and usher in what would be a dynasty that defined the decade of the 90s in the NBA. Magic Johnson, of course, was on the other side of that. He will join us live in our studio in our next hour. In the meantime, a reminder, we got Game 5 tomorrow night. Knicks looking to win their first championship in more than half a century, taking on the Spurs in San Antonio. 8:30 Eastern for the tip on ABC. NBA tip-off starts your night at 8, and you can watch it live or stream it anytime on the ESPN.